A challenge, two strikes, and a Coke Zero. We're going to talk about it on today's podcast.
Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We've realized life is a dance. The ups and downs can spin you out of your mind, but it's time to take back control. It's time to become a lifer. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We are a new breed of overachievers. Emotional mastery is our journey, and unlocking our full potential is the key. Welcome to the journey. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast. I'm so glad you joined me today, and thank you so much for being a subscriber. We love to have you here and help change the world, right? One emotion at a time. We're doing it all together. So thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time we load up one of our awesome podcasts. And as usual, if you have any wonderful comments that you'd like to share, please comment down below in the notes below. If you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or wherever you listen to your iTunes or your podcasts, then come join us on YouTube as well, and that way you can watch the podcast happening. Anyway, good to see you. And what did those three things have in common? Well, last night went out with the whole fam, and we decided to go bowling. Yeah, I haven't been bowling in years, honestly, but it seemed like the fun thing to do. And so we all got together. My youngest is 7, and so she was using the cool rail thing that goes down. And then my next oldest was 8, and she's now at the point where she didn't want to use the rail thing to help bowl with. So if you haven't been bowling, they created a little contraption where you can line up the ball, roll it down a little ramp, because the balls are heavy, you know. So we started in, and of course I'm super competitive, and so I get in and try to figure out how to utilize my body, right? I watched the videos. I saw how these bowlers use their body, and for goodness sakes, I know how to use my body, right? So I was copying as best I could. Now, that's not that big of a deal, right? But as we get going, you know, I'm adjusting here and adjusting to take a couple steps here. Let's see if we can figure out something that is consistent. And so, of course, if you didn't know, in bowling, one of the best things that you can get is a strike, which is funny because in baseball, a strike is bad, right? But in bowling, a strike is good, right? That means that you knock down all the pins in one try. Now, if you knock down a bunch of pins the first time and then you get all the rest the second time, you get a spare. And that means that you get extra points the next time you go to bowl and it's your turn. So we're bowling along, and I guess we might have been 6 or 7 frames, turns into the whole game out of 10. And all of a sudden they turn off the lights and put on like the disco lights. And apparently it was, party time at the bowling alley. So the lights are, swirling around. It's a little darker. They've got the TVs, the big, huge TV screens, showing whatever they were showing. And people are dancing around. Our kids are dancing around. We're having a good time. And a guy gets on the mic, right? He's trying to hype everybody up, and he says, "Okay, everybody, if you haven't been here, this is how it's going to go." And he kind of described the evening, right? And he says, "Now, we're going to have challenges all throughout the night, so pay attention because you're going to win cool prizes." And all of a sudden, my kids lit up like the lights that they just turned on, and they were like, "Prizes? What are the prizes?" Right? And just as they were doing that, it was my son Nate's turn. Now, up to this point, you have to understand, Nate was just kind of like chilling. He decided to turn the bumpers on because now in the new bowling alleys there's these bumpers that'll come up um, so the younger kids can bowl without it being a gutter ball every single time. So he had turned those on, and he kept saying, all the way to that point, he kept saying, "Oh, I'm not very good at bowling. I don't really care, just whatever." And he's kind of goofing around, messing around, and using the bumpers and whatever, right? So all of a sudden, this guy gets on the mic. He goes, "We're having a challenge, and we're going to start off, and our first one's going to be a bowling challenge." Yep, that's it, a bowling challenge. So what did he say? Well, the first 4 people to get a strike and get to me get a free drink. And so Nate heard that, and he had just picked up his ball. And when the guy says, "Well, the first one to get a strike gets a free drink," so he backed up, he turned around, and he literally, about as serious as you could be, he literally rolled the ball down moments after that, got a strike, and ran up to get his cup. And I'm telling you, every point up to that, there was nothing. All right. So I'm looking at it. And of course, I'm super competitive, and I'm looking to see if anybody else has gone to get the drinks. And nobody has gotten any except for Nate. And so I had to wait my turn because Nikki was next and then Holly was next. And so they went, and neither of them got a strike. And I stepped up, and I remember, okay, here we go. Nobody's gotten the drinks. I looked back, I grabbed the ball, picked it up, looked at what I was going to do, rolled the ball down, got a strike. That's what I'm talking about, right? Ran up and got my drink, and we were all cheering. The guy that was doing the challenge he thought it was awesome, right? And everybody around us is looking like, "Are you kidding me? You guys got 2 strikes right then." But in reflecting back, one of the things that I thought was interesting was that here Nate was started the evening with, "I'm not very good at bowling. It's not really my thing. Not really gonna put too much focus into it." He was kind of just playing it cool. I was in there trying to be competitive and looking at how many strikes I could get total. Well, the number of strikes I got on the night was, well, that was the one. Yep, that was the one. I think maybe I got one more, but I don't think so. In my brain I try to remember already, but I've forgotten. And honestly, you kind of look back at those moments and you go, "Well, what happened? Why did that happen?" And as soon as my son got his strike and got his drink, I remember somebody in the fam was like, "Nate, you're always lucky. Every time we go someplace, you're lucky. You're getting something, free from whatever." And so I started thinking about it and analyzing what the heck is going on. So what do you think? What do you think was going on? Well, you can get really deep into the subject. So if we wanted to get a little esoteric, we would call it was that he was vibrating in the right frequency, and utilizing the law of attraction and Hebb's law by Dr. Joe Dispenza, to be able to focus on what you were getting. But what happened in those moments? Because that whole evening, I was trying to get strikes. I was trying to adjust and make the difference in what I was doing and trying to get more strikes. And obviously, I'm not a bowler. Neither is Nate. So what happened? Well, if we dig into it a little bit further, it's quite simple, and you guys can all use this, and that's why I'm talking about it today, is that you guys can all use it and utilize it today. Sometimes when you are focusing something and trying so hard, sometimes it's really easy to get in the way of what it is that you're doing, right? And so you've heard that idea, like, get out of your own way. What is blocking you? And that's a thing right now, and that's a place where our world is really starting to understand that we have so much power with our mind. But the thing that I see that happened for both Nate and I as we bowled our strikes and won our challenge and prize, was that we focused on it, we decided what we wanted, we pictured it clearly in our mind, we felt what it was, and we went. But there was no time. There was no time at all for us to get in the way of our own thought, of our thing that we were trying to create in our world. Nate heard it. He wanted it done. He decided he wanted the prize. He felt it. He thought about it. Bam, he went. I was busy focusing on, okay, is there any space left for me to get that prize, right? It's funny how both the carrot and the stick work, right? Humans do things to avoid pain and gain pleasure, right? Thank you, Mr. Robbins, right? And we do that all the time. And so we wanted to gain something, right? And so that's the carrot, right? The carrot dangling in front of the horse. The horse keeps walking because he's trying to get the carrot. And as that happened, you realize, okay, that is still powerful. And a lot of coaches, a lot of teachers teach with the stick, right? That's like, okay, go, 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 get the stick behind the horse, threatening to whack the horse, right? But some people put the carrot in front of the stick and the horse goes, okay, I've got to get the carrot, right? So both sides work. And I can tell you that with very large amounts of confidence. Both work. And sometimes you have to have both in your world. So take a look at some of the things that are going on in your world and try to realize that if you want something, if you're working at going at something, try to figure out whether there's the carrot or the stick. What side of it is motivating you to move? What side is getting you to take action? And that's the idea. Maybe you can get both. Maybe you can find motivation on both sides of the stick, but it's going to take a few things. So what are the few things? You've got to focus on what you want. You got to have the proper motivation, and you've got to allow your mind to do its thing. Stop getting in the way of your thing, right? And your brain is so powerful, and you've probably had that kind of thing happen before, and it's kind of a weird coincidence, right? And so that's, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the coincidence that you think it is, and maybe it's literally just you creating it with your mind. So, in the case of our bowling and our strikes, you kind of look at it and you go, was that a coincidence that we happened to get two strikes right at the right time, right when we were going to win prizes, or what? Well, after that, I kept going and kept trying to get strikes. But again, I was trying to get a strike. And I know that's semantics, right? That's a little bit of focus differently on the words, but that trying element was kind of what killed us. And I don't think Nate got another strike the rest of the night. He might have. Um, but in that moment, it was, I'm going to get a strike and I'm going to win the prize. That's it. There was no other option. There was no other thought to it. It was stand up there, look at what you're doing, do it, get it done with, and move right along, get your prize. And so that's it. Think about it that way. What do you want? Step up, figure out what the motivation is behind it, get moving. Stop overthinking it, and for goodness sake, stop trying. And let's get to work, man. Start bringing the things that you deserve to have, because you do deserve to have them, right? You deserve, you are worthy, you are enough, you are always enough, right? Get out of your own way to do that and start moving, right? Nothing like a challenge, two strikes, and a Coke Zero. Hope you have a great day. Like I said, if you like this video and you know somebody that'll help, click the like button over in the corner. If you know somebody this is going to help, please share it. There's a little share button. If you hit the share button, you can share the link in the text, or you can email it to somebody that maybe would benefit from it today. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and the little notification bell will let you know when we are posting new content. And look forward to seeing you again on the channel, or talking to you again in the podcast. So all of you guys out there, don't forget, start changing your emotions, start changing your world one emotion at a time. Start changing your world one emotion at a time. You got to practice those emotions. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Happiness is a choice. Sadness is a choice. All emotions are a choice. Sometimes doing our emotions doesn't seem like it's our choice, but it is. You have control. You are the captain of your ship, and you must learn how to be the best captain you can be. Let me show you how. Pick up your free copy of my new book, Every Minute, at everyminutebook.com.